Welcome, I'm Mike Kasperzak, and we're here today at the Mountain View Tech Showcase at City Hall Plaza. And this is a great event sponsored by both the city and the Chamber of Commerce to highlight some of the really unique companies that we have here in Mountain View and some of the unique services and products that are coming out of our city. So we're going to spend the next hour taking a look at what's going on here in Mountain View from a high-tech perspective.
Good morning, Mountain View. I'm Peter Katz. I'm the CEO of the Mountain View Chamber of Commerce, and in partnership with the City of Mountain View, we'd like to welcome you to the 7th Annual Technology Showcase. Today, we have a wonderful opportunity to see the innovation that is Mountain View. We all know about some of our world-renowned companies, and they're here today, but we also have a number over 700 startups in the technology field. Today is just a taste of what we have available here in Mountain View in terms of the innovation and creativity that makes us famous. I invite you to take a look at all of the booths that are here, to visit with the robotics team in the back, and really to have a great time. Of course, none of this would be possible without our sponsors, and so I'd like to thank our signature sponsor, LinkedIn, our supporting sponsors, Waymo, Verizon, Aurora, Neuro, and Google, and our media sponsor, Mountain View Voice, and of course, KMVT for filming it all today. And with that, I'd like to welcome our mayor, Lucas Ramirez.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning. What a way to begin or to introduce this event than by reading on a handwritten piece of paper here. My name is Lucas Ramirez, and I have the honor to serve as Mayor of Mountain View this year. Welcome to the 7th Annual Technology Showcase. I am pleased to join you to experience and learn about the impressive and innovative work being done by local companies, startups, and organizations. I would like to recognize my colleagues on the City Council. I haven't seen any, but Vice Mayor Allison Hicks, Council members Pat Showalter, Lisa Matichak, Margaret Abekoga, Ellen Kamei, and, oh my gosh, who am I missing?
Sally Lieber.
Sally Lieber, thank you. If you see them, please say hello. We're all accessible. We're all here to help. I would also like to recognize the Mountain View Chamber of Commerce for their continued partnership with the city in organizing this event. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge and thank our hardworking city staff for their participation. I'm grateful to all of the businesses and organizations here today. Mountain View continues to be a hub of innovation and creativity. That's why so many businesses choose to begin and remain here. We are proud to welcome and support them as they work to improve our lives with groundbreaking and exciting technology like what you will see here. Please enjoy your time at the 2022 Technology Showcase. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
We're here this morning with Mayor Lucas Ramirez at the Mountain View Tech Showcase, and welcome, Mayor. It's good to see you again.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here.
So is this your first Tech Showcase?
Though it is the 7th annual, it's the first one I've had the opportunity to attend. I work for the city of San Jose, and unfortunately, they tend to host these while I'm working, so it's been difficult.
Yes, one of the duties of the job. So what are your thoughts? So we're just opening up and we're about to get going, but what do you think of all the businesses that are here this morning?
I think this is phenomenal. It's a great opportunity for residents and people patronizing the businesses in downtown to learn a little bit about the business community in Mountain View. Most of these companies, I don't think, are terribly well known. So it's a great opportunity for folks to experience the technologies that are innovative, creative, the things that keep our economy going, and to learn about what's going on here.
Any displays here that have really wowed you or taken you by surprise?
To be perfectly honest, they've just opened up and I've just got here, so I haven't had a chance to look at all the booths, but I encourage others who will be here for, I think, until 3 o'clock to take a look around.
Well, I'd go over and check out the big semi-tractor over there that's an autonomous vehicle, shipping truck.
Thanks for the recommendation. I'll check it out.
Right. Lucas, it's great to have you. Good luck with the festival today, and thanks for stopping by.
Thanks again, Mike. It's a pleasure.
All right. I'm here this morning with Mike and Sydney from Aurora, which there's a lot of Auroras in the world, but this is like Aurora Trucking, right?
Yes, so we are focused on self-driving tech with the mission to bring the technology safely, quickly, and broadly.
And Mike, you're a driver, right?
I sure am. Yes, I am.
And have you been doing test driving with Aurora with these vehicles?
Yes, I've been with Aurora for just about 2 years, and I've had almost 4 or 5 years of autonomous driving experience. And before that, I've accumulated 1 million miles in various kinds of trucking.
So how when you're testing one of these vehicles in autonomous mode, how much are you driving?
Less and less. When I first came on, I was doing most of the driving, and now I am doing less and less driving. I'm proud to say that I was we have a partner load that we haul for FedEx. So I hauled the first and second load, and when we hauled the first load of the 150 miles that it is, the truck drove itself 143 of those miles. So.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, Sydney, what's sort of the rollout of these vehicles? Because I know there's some legislation or in Sacramento or at the DMV that you guys are working on as well.
Yeah, so do you want me to? Go ahead. So we're actually right now we're testing in Texas, as Mike mentioned. We've got a pilot there with FedEx. Currently in California, we're actually not permitted to deploy our trucks, test or deploy them. Certainly that's in the works, and we'd like to do so. That's up to the DMV. So currently right now you can do autonomous ride hailing and light duty delivery, but trucking is still in the works. So we're hoping our state legislature and DMV will support us in that, because we think we can be, we can help and complement some of the supply chain woes at the moment and be helpful in that regard.
And so one of the questions that obviously comes up is autonomous vehicles and what that does to truckers, the drivers. I've heard stuff that's not a problem because there's going to be a lot of new jobs created. How do you guys feel about that? Start with you, Mike.
Okay, so as a professional truck driver, I'm very pleased with what's happening, because I get to be home every day rather than be out on the road for weeks at a time. I see my job changing to that being more local, because right now we're developing the hub-to-hub mentality. And so with that, there's still middle mile and last mile trucking that needs to be done. But that kind of trucking gets me home every day to see my family. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And anything you want to add to that, Sydney?
I would just encourage folks, there are studies around this, and we're certainly, there isn't going to be this overnight explosion of autonomous vehicles. We haven't seen that happen. And in our depots in Texas, we're seeing new jobs, around maintenance, around the depots themselves, technicians. And just the last thing I'll mention is we have a few workforce programs. For example, in Montana, we have one focused on the LiDAR technology, and it's a 2-year program with the college there. So we're hoping to do more of that. We think there's a lot of potential.
Great. And if there was one last thing you wanted to make sure that our audience knew about Aurora and the business that you guys are in, what would it be?
Well, I guess I would have to say that I think that we are going to make the roads a lot safer, because we're taking away the element of road rage and emotions and fatigue and distractions and all of that. The Aurora driver does not need to deal with any personal issues. So I really think that this is a great product, and I don't think it's going. I think it's going to actually create more employment. Just one other thought that I wanted to say is that if my son wanted to come into trucking, it would be very hard for him to do that because he wouldn't want to go over the road so much. But the idea that there's a computer there, that he could fix computers and things like that, that's more appealing to him. So.
Well, thank you both for your time and good luck on deployment. And I guess we won't see these driving down our residential streets, but we'll be looking for them on the road. Thanks very much. I'm here with Paul Wood and Lillian from Verizon, and we're here to talk about their exhibit here today. And who wants to take it? What are you guys doing here today?
Well, I'll take it. So I'm with Verizon's crisis response team. We provide support mostly to public safety during disasters. So in Northern California, I spend a lot of time out at fire camps during the summer. What's behind me is what we call a SPOT trailer, satellite picocell on trailer. It essentially is a miniature portable cell site. Satellite dish, so it gets its data from that, processes through equipment in the rack, mast is up with antennas, and I can put cellular and I can put Wi-Fi on the air, and we use that at fire camps. We support things like Red Cross shelters and whatnot with that as well.
So I recently became a disaster response volunteer, and my first deployment was to the Kentucky tornadoes in January. And we were spread all over the state, and of course every volunteer had a computer with them. And every volunteer was wondering if they had Wi-Fi or not, or service. So is that part of the need to support that part of the response?
Yeah, exactly. And we found over the years that I've been doing this, I've been over 10 years supporting public safety for Verizon. We found that it's gone more from phone calls and we need some phones, we need to borrow some phones or whatever, to we need data, because everything about disaster management has become data centric. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can attest to that, and sort of my job there is not really data heavy, but heavy enough. So what is it that you're contributing here to the effort today?
So I support community engagement in the Bay Area. So we're out here as a community partner to the Mountain View community, and we just want to meet the folks in the area, be part of this wonderful event, and learn more about the tech that's out here, and get to showcase some of the amazing things Verizon is doing.
That's great, and I know you guys are sponsors of the showcase as well. Are you guys here in Mountain View, or just supportive of the effort and helping out that way?
So I have Northern California as my area. I work up out of Sacramento area, but I've got equipment all over the place, and we support agencies everywhere, including Mountain View.
Have you deployed in California yet this year? It's pretty early for fire season, but there have been a few.
Yeah, so in Northern California, I've deployed twice for fires, once for the Electra over in Amador County and once for the Washburn fire down in Yosemite. In fact, I dropped off equipment to somebody that's transitioning the incident team on the Washburn today. So.
Now, I notice at your booth you've also got some other toys. It looks like you've got some drones there. What's all that for?
So the drones are like I'm a licensed drone pilot for Verizon as well. Comes with the job. Although there was work involved to get it, but yeah. We use it for things like infrastructure inspection after a fire rips through. We want to inspect the tower, the antenna panels, the cabling and everything, make sure it's all good. We can use it for line of sight for things like microwave shots. If we're trying to bring up a cell site during a disaster that's, it's lost its fiber backhaul. Microwave is a direct line of sight, so we can put the drone up and see if we can actually see the other hill, miles away. I've got infrared cameras. I did an exercise with Ammonia Safety and Training Institute down in Monterey County, because ammonia boils at a super low point, which means the cloud is cold, so you can see it on infrared. So
got it.
You know,
got it.
Yeah, whatever we need to do, we do with it. We've got flying cell sites, so we can cable, and so during disasters, we can actually put a cell site up in the air to give us better propagation.
And sort of, I guess, obvious, maybe a not so obvious question is, in a disaster, does Verizon provide these as this service as a community service, or does it bill the state or FEMA or whomever?
No, we don't bill for those things. It's being a good business partner. It's being a good partner to the communities. I mean, we live in communities. I don't live in Mountain View, but I live in a community, right? So, you know, it makes sense to do that. It's kind of Verizon's way to give back in part. Yeah.
Great. And Lillian, if there was one last thing you wanted our audience to know about Verizon and Verizon Response, what would it be?
That Verizon has so many incredible initiatives like our crisis response team. So just check it out on the website and learn more about all the amazing things we're doing to contribute to our communities.
Great. Well, you know, I'm resisting, but I'm going to do it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you both for being here. Thank you for all you're doing for the community and helping to keep the community safe in a time of disaster. Thanks a lot. I'm here with Dan Mitchell from Neuro, one of the autonomous vehicle companies here in the Bay Area and here in Mountain View. And Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit of why you're here today?
Sure. So Neuro is an autonomous vehicle company that's working on autonomous vehicles for delivery services. No one inside the car, just your packages, pizza, groceries, what you need, we're here to bring it to you.
All right. And so, as I'm walking around Mountain View, I obviously live here in Mountain View. I see Neuro vehicles around out in the neighborhoods and that sort of thing, but you know, I don't see Waymo vehicles anymore. What's up with that?
Well, so the autonomous vehicles that you're seeing from Neuro, there are two types of vehicles we have on the road. We have our Prius vehicles, which are a test vehicle that has someone inside the vehicle, still autonomous. It will drive itself around the neighborhood, so a safety operator inside the car. And then you'll also see our zero occupant vehicle, a vehicle with no one inside of it that's driving autonomously in the neighborhood, keeping everyone safe while delivering packages, goods, and other things.
So are these on the road now in Mountain View?
Yep, it's on the road. We're still in the testing phase with our zero occupant vehicle, so you may see delivery services at some point in the future with these zero occupant vehicles. But today, actually, in Mountain View, folks can order from our partner, one of our partners, 7-Eleven actually. We have an active delivery service in Mountain View with our autonomous vehicles. We're really excited about that. I think we're one of the first autonomous vehicle companies in California to actually have a real service that customers can use and that's commercially available. So we're really excited to be making that progress.
So to avail themselves of that service, do customers have to call a specific 7-Eleven and request delivery?
So we work with 7-Eleven through the 7-Eleven Now app. So folks in the neighborhood of the 7-Elevens we're working with will be eligible for delivery. They'll order through the 7-Eleven Now app, and then they'll have the option on the app to have Neuro do the delivery in the areas that we're around.
And so what kind of response are you guys seeing from this?
People love it. I mean, it's really cool. We hear a lot of stories about this is the future. This is so exciting. This is, you know, I never thought I would see the day that this is happening on the road, but we're doing it. We're really excited to be doing that here in Mountain View and then grow and expand around the world, actually.
And when do we expect pizza?
We've done real deliveries. Domino's Pizza is really exciting. They're one of our partners. We've done real deliveries with Domino's Pizza in Houston, Texas, one of our other operating areas. Maybe one day soon, the Domino's Pizza on El Camino will be doing deliveries as well. Not yet, but maybe someday soon.
Yeah, I live pretty close to that Domino's, so that would be really great. Is there anything that you're discovering as part of your testing process, here in Mountain View specifically, but in general?
Yeah, so, we're tackling a really, really tough challenge. There are 3 things we're working on as well, right? We're building these vehicles, which is a really complicated process to build a street legal vehicle that can go out on the roads and drive. That's the first part. The second part is we're teaching it how to drive. We're building all the software for the vehicle to be able to drive itself wherever it needs to go. And then the third part is running and operating the service. And so we've done that testing on the roads of the software. We've done the testing now of the hardware on the roads as well. That third part, running the service, making sure we're building something that people can actually use, is really, really part of the technology development, making sure we're building the right software, the right hardware that's really delivering something that people really need and can utilize. So that's a part of our development process, and we're really excited to be doing that here in Mountain View.
And if there are partners, like we've got a great grocery store downtown Mountain View, Ava's, and they've been using the Starship, the little personal delivery devices. But if somebody like that wanted to partner with Neuro and be able to deliver throughout Mountain View, how would somebody do that, or how far away is that from happening?
Yeah, so that's something that we hope to see happen in the future. Right now, there are thousands of Domino's Pizza, Kroger grocery stores nationwide, so there's a lot of partners that are really excited about this service. But one day we hope everyone here on Castro Street will be able to utilize Neuro services. They may not need a vehicle for the full day to do delivery, so maybe there are shared vehicles that they can utilize for a couple of hours to do a couple of deliveries a day, or maybe grocery delivery, then maybe pizza delivery, then maybe package delivery, then maybe, the florist shop here can do the same thing as well. So it's something that we hope to do, really focused again on that local neighborhood delivery, a couple miles from each store location. These vehicles are built really to fit into the neighborhood, into the community. And so our idea is really to expand the local access for the, brick and mortar footprint businesses in the area.
Great, and then, you guys are in Mountain View. This is the Mountain View Tech Showcase. Why are you guys in Mountain View?
So Mountain View is a great place to build a startup and a company. We've been able to grow and expand, starting with just 5 people in an Airbnb 6 years ago, to now have our headquarters here in Mountain View with almost 1,300 people. It's an incredible growth story here in Mountain View, and so we're really, really excited about it. There's a lot of tech talent. The city's been really friendly and welcoming for these vehicles and this technology as well. So we're really excited to continue to grow here in Mountain View.
Well, super. Thanks so much for your time. Good luck with deployment of the vehicles. I'll be looking for it, and have a great afternoon.
Great. Thanks a lot, Mike. Take care.
You bet, Dan. Thanks. I'm here with Michael and Gail from Waymo, what we used to call in Mountain View sort of, what did we call it? The Google autonomous vehicles. But Gail, tell us a little bit about what Waymo's doing these days.
Well, we've been fully live in Phoenix, Arizona for the last 2 years. You can come and get an autonomous ride there. You just download the app, Waymo One, and an autonomous car will come pick you up from Phoenix all the way south is Chandler. We also are all around San Francisco. I'm sure you see our cars. We're just waiting for some permits to go through to further more of our areas. But if you're out in the Sunset area, in the Sunset District, we're fully live there, so you can download the app right here in the Bay Area. And if you're in the Sunset District, you can get a ride from an autonomous vehicle of ours, Waymo.
So Waymo is actually in transportation services now, not just providing and developing vehicles.
So we are a ride share, so it's basically our equipment on a car, like our vehicles in Arizona. They're a Chrysler minivan with our autonomous technology on it and integrated in the car so that it can work as an autonomous car.
So being from Mountain View and having spent the last 5 years seeing Waymo vehicles all over Mountain View all the time, Why are you guys operating like in San Francisco and not down here in Mountain View? I'll throw this one to you, Michael.
That's a good question, but yeah, well, I guess that's what they've been doing in San Francisco for the last few years and stuff. I know I saw them a lot during the pandemic, like a couple years ago. Like I was always walking around and I would see like Waymos just like everywhere, and I was always curious myself, like, what is Waymo? Like I usually see them throughout the different neighborhoods and stuff like that. So after like kind of working with them and getting familiarized with what they do, they were kind of saying that, I mean, obviously the pandemic was, was hard for everyone, but for them it was really beneficial because a lot of people weren't on the roads and stuff, so they were able to collect a lot of data from all the different neighborhoods, going at different times in the day and night, stuff like that. So they're able to collecting and gather data, so it kind of like speed up their process since a lot of people weren't on the roads and stuff like that. And just a lot of the events that we do, a lot of people come up to us and say, we see Waymos everywhere and stuff like that throughout the different neighborhoods in San Francisco.
So in San Francisco, you are providing the rideshare now as well, or is that only in Arizona?
We have the rideshare out in the Sunset District. Just recently it opened up in different areas. It's just a matter of permits that we have to get. Same with here in Mountain View. We're just waiting for permits to be able to have our technology work and integrate in within the community. So we're excited to be here. We're just excited about telling people what we're doing. You can always download the app and get some information of where our next cities are going to be. So you never know, Mountain View might be the next. You might see a lot of our vehicles here in Mountain View with some of our employees in it, because that's who are really in them when you're seeing them here in Mountain View. But in San Francisco, we're still getting some more permits to kind of go more into the city so you can utilize that area.
And when I see stories about Waymo and other autonomous vehicles, some of the stories say that they're not charging yet. Are you able to charge for rides in Arizona or in the Sunset?
Yes, yep. Again, just need to download the app, Waymo One app, and it'll take you from there, just like as if you're doing any other rideshare.
And how's the cost compared to like one of the traditional rideshare companies, since you're not actually paying a driver?
Right. Well, it's going to be very compatible, very competitive as well. At least you're not going to have to tip anyone, so at least that's going to save you a little bit there.
Don't have to worry about, talking to anybody. Sometimes you get into an Uber and a Lyft and your driver's just like kind of talking nonstop and you're just in there like, you just want peace and quiet. So that's the good thing about the Waymo. You get to experience, a driverless ride. You don't have to worry about, talking to someone. You kind of just, experience it, from a different perspective, So it's a different kind of experience and stuff. I know it could be like a little nerve-wracking for some people at first, but, at the end of the day, it's still a car, but it's just a different kind of experience. That's what it has, the technology with the LiDAR, the radar, and the cameras and stuff, so.
And the safety.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've been to a lot of briefings over back in the Google days about how many, just the safety record of human drivers and that sort of thing. So one other question I have is part of the business plan, you may not be able to talk about this, but ultimately making autonomous vehicles available to the general public for sale. Like, can I buy an autonomous vehicle?
Well, right now we're just working on our rideshare, and we're concentrating on that first. And we're trying to serve the community for that right now. We're not really selling anything or any car. It's just our rideshare service. And also we do have a Waymo Via, which are our 18-wheelers as well.
Okay. So we saw the Aurora vehicle back here, so that's a competitor to like Aurora?
Yeah, I don't know too much about Aurora, but I have seen them out in the fields. But yeah, we're fully doing some 18-wheelers, the Waymo Via, part of our Waymo company out in Texas and also New Mexico. So you should, I'm sure, it's just a matter of permits, getting all these permits to get through all these other states and cities, and we're going to have a safer world out there on the road.
Well, super. Thanks very much for your time. You know, we here in Mountain View, all us residents, love the fact that we've got Waymo here and love the fact that we've got Google here. So thanks for your time.
So glad that we're here today, too.
Right, and thanks for being a sponsor of the Tech Showcase as well.
Definitely.
So, all right, have a great afternoon. Thank you, guys. I'm here with Maureen from Mobile Helix, and a company I've never heard of. So, Maureen, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So, we make an app called Link, as you can see, this big red link. Link is an app for lawyers. So the issue today is that lawyers cannot do very much work on their tablets or phones because the documents they're working with are very sensitive, very confidential. So you just can't pick up your phone and use your documents. So we make an app that's highly secure. Encrypted is one of the things that it is, and it gives them access. Lawyers use special software that you typically can't get on your phone. So we also are integrated with the special software that they use.
Well, having been an attorney back in the days before we really almost had word processing. I mean, that's when I got out of the practice of law. So things have changed a little bit.
Oh, things have changed tremendously, and a lot of people came up from word processing who work in the operations side, but yeah, now law firms not only have a CIO, a Chief Information Officer, they have a Chief Information Security Officer. I mean, they have intellectual property of their clients, they have mergers and acquisition information that a lot of stock traders would like to get at, they may have information China's trying to get at. So for law firms, the security game has changed tremendously since when you were in it.
And so, like with your product, with Link, is it that, I mean, a lot of other industries, have confidential information, medical and that sort of thing. So there's technology out there. Have you created new technology or just sort of repackaged some of that technology in an industry-appropriate app?
Well, it's a really good question. It's not just lawyers who need this kind of security, and we call it workflows, ability to do something like get a document, annotate it, email it to someone, or send it to your associate. Lots of companies need that, but law firms have a priority on security, so that's where we started. We started working with all kinds of enterprise verticals, but law firms really wanted this particular thing. So if you're small, it's good to focus on one vertical, go after it, and then expand. So it's a good question.
I remember when I was a junior associate and I was on the computer committee, and we were talking about one day you're actually going to be able to see the actual document and maybe even the back side of it. Of course, now we call that a PDF, or that's what I still call it. But it was like, nah, that'll never happen. We still had orange text, so it's come a long ways in the 30 years I've been out of practice.
Yeah, and people expect more ability to collaborate. Lawyers are not just working on a document by themselves. They want to be able to use this kind of software to have their associate work on it, and maybe a paralegal, and maybe a lawyer who specializes in something that's in the document. So even that collaboration has changed tremendously. You know very well that lawyers work extremely long hours, right? And today, that lawyers can't work on their phones or on their tablets is crazy, right? So that's what we do.
Yeah. So how did you guys end up being here in Mountain View?
Basically, we're distributed, so we have different individuals working. Our CEO had a very successful company in San Francisco, and I worked for him at that company. And basically, because some of us were located near Mountain View, I said, okay, I'll be the headquarters. So I'm the headquarters.
Got it. Well, that's a great story. And how do you like being a Mountain View company?
Well, we love everything about Mountain View.
Well, that's what a former mayor loves to hear. So,
well, I mean, in terms of work, right, we have this great transit center. When I worked in San Francisco, I walked to the train station for 4 years and took the train up, and that company actually paid for my train pass. So now here, you can get all over the valley. I mean, all over San Francisco and down. So Yeah, and I mean, obviously very friendly for startups. We didn't incubate in the coffee shop down the street, but a lot of people incubated at Red Rocks, right? So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck on the company. What's your sort of strategic goal with the company at this point?
Well, for now, we just want to be very big in the legal vertical, and then we'll move on from there. I mean, you can go IPO, you can go acquisition, all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Maybe exit strategy is get bought by LexisNexis.
Well, I didn't realize you were a lawyer when we started this, but yeah, I mean, that would not be out of the realm of the current possibilities, yes.
They did that with another company that started up around here that a friend of mine in Palo Alto started up too.
Yeah,
so,
they buy it.
yeah. Thank you for your time.
I wish I can't because of the pandemic, but...
No worries. All right, thank you, Maureen. I'm here with Ben from LinkedIn and Winter from Nova Job Center, and welcome to the Mountain View Tech Showcase. And let me start with you, Ben, because we know LinkedIn also is one of our title sponsors. But could you tell us a little bit about why you're here and partnering with Nova?
Well, LinkedIn, can I hold it?
Go ahead.
So LinkedIn, has always been interested in supporting the community where we are. Right, and we have a nonprofit arm, and I think we just want to be involved with whatever endeavors are happening locally, just to be in touch with the community. Because a lot of our employees live in the community, and our offices are in the community, so we just want to support where we are.
Great, and so you guys have a booth together. I gather there's a reason for that. Winter, can you speak to that?
Sure. We're really proud to be here with LinkedIn today, especially because NovaWorks provides job seeker services, which are resumes, career advising appointments, opportunities for social networking, and our workshops. Available via Zoom, we have over 25 different workshops, and 4 of them are focused on LinkedIn. We see that LinkedIn is one of the most important new trends in hiring. It allows people to get information out in real time about what they've done and what they're interested in. So partnering with LinkedIn is a straightforward service for our job seekers.
And has working with LinkedIn had a noticeable impact on Nova's abilities to get people placed into jobs and that sort of thing?
Yes. We have absolutely seen that people are able to create profiles that draw attention. So by having a positive representative out there on the internet, recruiters who use LinkedIn to a great extent are now able to see people that they may not have been aware of otherwise, find their skills, and make a match.
And what part of the community is Nova really reaching out to? I mean, who's your basic client base and that sort of thing?
Our basic client base is both the business and the job seeker. So we work with people from all ages who are unemployed. People maybe who are coming back from a break, somebody who may have been impacted by a recent layoff, or also somebody that's worried or interested in a transition, wanting to try something new. And then on the business side, we also get not only our Workforce Investment Act funding, but grant funding. So we are often able to create programs that allow us to help businesses with hiring and diversity.
Well, that's fantastic. And Ben, just in terms of, have you actually had actual interaction with Nova aside from today? Is that part of your portfolio at LinkedIn?
Well, not actually. I work with other employees at LinkedIn on. I'm actually part of our green team. And so, Orlando, who is in community development and engagement, he asked me to step in.
Okay.
So, I think Orlando would probably have had some experience with Nova.
Well, at the least, we've got a collaboration here between LinkedIn and Nova, and you guys are networking and developing new relationships, which is kind of what LinkedIn's all about. So thank you guys. Oh, go ahead.
I just also wanted to comment that we really do appreciate the collaboration that we've had with LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been a great host of some of our job seeker customers and helping them to better understand how they can prepare themselves, whether it be with their resume or with their interviewing. That's been a rich history, and so we just so much appreciate Katie Farrick for her collaboration and helping us to get connected to the wonderful resources that are available through LinkedIn. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, thank you all for spending a little time with us, and thank you for all you're doing for the community. Have a great afternoon. Okay, stay cool.
Thank you.
Hydrate.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
I'm here with Ed and Emily from Hacker Dojo, who I've known about Hacker Dojo for years, but you guys have gone through a couple of transitions over the last few years, and maybe you could fill our audience into what's been going on lately.
Sure, yeah. So like you mentioned, we've been around since 2009. We moved to Santa Clara in 2016. We had to close our doors in 2019, 2020 due to the pandemic. Yeah, I was going to say COVID-19. So yeah, we closed our doors for 2 years, and in that time frame, we decided we want to come back to our founding city. We think it's really important that we come back, and we did a vigorous search, and we found a space, actually right next to LinkedIn's campus, A55 Mod. We're there 24/7. We're a maker space, event space, and a co-working collaborative space.
And so, Emily, you're the board chair for Hacker Dojo, and what's your professional background? Do you come in from the?
I'm a software executive, so I've worked in numerous places like Tesla. I think a lot of people know that one. Cisco, IBM. So been around, and then a couple startups. Very successful startup on one of them, and so still on the other one though, working on.
So what are the things that are coming out of Hacker Dojo these days? I don't think, most of the non-tech community really understands what it is that Hacker Dojo does, what it offers the community.
So Hacker Dojo is a great place to start an idea. It's a great place to share an idea, to get feedback, before you do anything, you want to socialize the idea, you want to kind of really vet it out. It's a great place. It's a neutral testing ground for a lot of technology. A lot of popular technology that's emerging out of the dojo right now, I would say, is in the Web3 space, machine learning. These are kind of the two trends that we're really seeing. So also some gaming too. We're seeing some of that trend really pick up at the dojo today.
So this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek question, but so how are you guys different than the second floor of Red Rock?
Our coffee is unlimited, and it's free. We'll start there. Also, it's a 24/7 space.
Okay.
I would say that's kind of, and we have the laser cutters and the 3D printers. That kind of differentiates us out of that, the Red Rock Cafe.
And so, would it be fair to say, that was really a tongue-in-cheek question because the Red Rock is a coffee shop and a lot of people gather there, but you're more than a gathering place.
Yeah.
You have tools and stuff and mentoring and all of that sort of stuff over there.
We're kind of like Cheers. It's familiar faces. Everyone knows your name.
Yeah.
It's more of a community base, so it's the reoccurring faces, those who are being supportive of each other's projects. During a cafe, it's kind of, it's transient. It's, you don't know if you'll see that person again. So I think that's kind of the core to it. You'll see the people there on a recurring basis, and helping each other, supporting one another, giving tips and advice on how to grow their products or advance their projects.
It's interesting, it's so great that you are back. I remember years ago when you were in a space that apparently wasn't actually totally permitted, and there were all sorts of issues. And the community really came out to support the dojo and say, well, you need to do whatever you have to do to make sure that the dojo stays in Mountain View. And so it is great that you're back.
you. We're glad to be back.
And I remember, I think you guys hosted a chamber mixer at one point years ago. Okay. You might want to do that again. We've restarted mixers at the Chamber of Commerce after the, well, we're not out of the pandemic yet, but.
We'd love to host. I myself joined the dojo in 2014. I actually taught myself how to code at the dojo. I built a project out of the dojo. I became a power volunteer, then a board member, and now I'm the executive director today. So I feel very passionate about the mission. I'm super excited that we're back where we're supposed to be, back in Mountain View, and we'd love to host the chamber.
Well, that'll be blast, and we've got that on tape, so we'll play that out. But last question is, are there any companies that really have been spawned out of the dojo that our audience, they might recognize their names?
Oh, yeah, sure. So one notable startup that came out of the dojo is Pinterest. Pinterest started out of Hacker Dojo. Hacker Dojo came from a meetup called Super Happy Dev House. And if you look at the history of hackathons and you Google it, hackathons, you'll find Super Happy Dev House to be one of the earliest hackathons in existence, and also in the Bay Area. And out of 30 of those, our co-founder, David Weekley, said, hey, what if we had a place that we can go and hack 24/7? Let's call it Hacker Dojo. And that's what started the whole thing and the community building since then. So if you look into the Super Happy Dev House, there's been a lot of amazing projects that come out of there. One notable was WordLens, which eventually got acquired by Google, and now today, in its latest iteration, you would know it as Google Translate.
All right. Well, maybe it's time for the City of Mountain View to have a hackathon for the Community Planning and Development Office, for people to come in and help figure out how to do that better.
Yeah, so actually I was talking with Councilwoman and we were talking about helping optimize maybe the VTA, maybe providing some kind of a platform for people to get more information, and other initiatives like that. So yeah, we're absolutely excited about that, working together.
Well, thank you both for your time. It's great to have you back in town. And, for those of us in the audience that were wondering whatever happened to Hacker Dojo, it's great to know you're here.
Yeah, hackerdojo.org. Come by, check us out.
Super, and we'll look forward to that mixer. Thanks a lot, Ed. Nice to meet you. I'm here with Jason, the owner-founder of Jenksbot. And Jason, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what Jenksbot does?
Sure. Jenksbot is a 3D printing as a service business. We started here in Mountain View around 7 years ago, and we started in our garage and then made our way to a brick and mortar business off of Church and Calderon. So we print for small to medium-sized businesses as well as small companies and individuals, and we just take in STL files. We determine the geometric volume of the part that spits out a price, and then we receive the file once it's paid for, print the file, and send it off to you. We either do local pickups and shipping as well.
So your average customer, you're not a manufacturer per se doing a lot of quantity. Are you doing more like, well, somebody's testing out an idea and they want to see what it's going to look like?
That's pretty much it. We do a lot of prototyping, so one-offs. If you're looking for fit, feel, and function, we can help you with that. We do really quick turnaround times, 48 to 72 hours, but we also do small runs. I think the largest number we've printed was around 1,000 of a unit. It was smaller, but we were able to handle that volume.
And so somebody doing something like that, is that something that they're incorporating into a product, or is it more like a tchotchke for a giveaway?
It could be any of those things. That's the magic of 3D printing. We're essentially making an omni-object. We take in really anything that you're creating. It could be a tchotchke, it could be a one-off, it could be a prototype, electronics enclosures, to final products. We've had a lot of people 3D print final products with us that are going straight into the packaging and off to the customer.
So I have no idea. I mean, what would someone pay to do something like this? Can castle there.
Yeah, it's based off of geometric volume of the part. So the larger the part, the more expensive. The smaller the part, the less expensive. Really, the value of 3D printing comes from the uniqueness of it. So if you have, the paperclip analogy is a good one. I can print you a paperclip, but it'll be a really expensive paperclip. But if you wanted a paperclip with, say, your face on it, or your name, or something clever, then it'll be the cheapest way to produce that.
Now, people have heard about like 3D printing of homes and that sort of thing, and you know, to 3D printing food, and I'm guessing you're not in that. But can you talk a little bit about, I guess it's the inks that make everything doable. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, happy to. So 3D printing is no more complicated than a hot glue gun, if you want to imagine that. Anything that can be melted and extruded through a nozzle can be 3D printed. Really, you're just using a computer-controlled mechanism to precisely lay out that plan. So printing with cement to make houses, printing with chocolate to make candies, printing with candies or plastics, anything that you can come up with, we can make with 3D printing. It's additive manufacturing. So before additive manufacturing came along in the 80s, the only way to get something created was subtractive manufacturing. Drilling, sanding, milling, taking things away from a block of material.
Like sculpting.
Sculpting, exactly. So with additive manufacturing, we're able to create things in the last 10, 20 years, geometries that have never before been able to been created or thought of. If you come up with like a block of steel, the only way to subtractive manufacture that is to cut that up, drill in your holes, and then bolt it together. With additive manufacturing, you can just straight up make whatever pathway you want for in any form you want. So, I mean, honestly, the sky's the limit.
So, you know, as I think about the future of like 3D printing, not necessarily Jenksbot, but, you know, I imagine Apollo 13, you know, and they're trying to figure out, well, how are we going to match these two systems, which wouldn't have helped to have a 3D printer on the ground because you can't get it into the space station. But having a 3D printer is part of a moon base or things like that when you have to fix a part.
Yeah, there's a program called Made in Space where they're actually taking 3D printers today and 3D printing items in space. So if an astronaut needs an item that, say, breaks or they need a replacement, like you said, you can't just call for another part. You have to make it on the spot. And 3D printing is really the only way to do that.
Cool. You know, I think maybe a lot of people think, at least I do, think, well, the pieces look a little flimsy. They're, you know, they're not really to be used. How durable can this stuff be?
Pretty durable. So it just depends on how you design it as well. It is still plastic at the end of the day. So if you're going to print something that looks delicate and you throw it on the ground, it's probably going to break. But if you design it to be strong enough, then it's more about the design than it is the material at that point. So it can be very strong. I've had people use 3D printed items for years without them failing.
Hey, thanks very much. Fascinating project, fascinating company, and thank you for being here at the Tech Showcase today.
My pleasure. We're located just here off of Church and Calderon, so we're local. Come visit us.
All right. Maybe we'll see you at a Chamber Mixer one of these days.
I think you will.
Okay, super. Thanks a lot. Well, yes, I am here at NASA, here at the Mountain View Tech Showcase, and I'm here with Lavorka, with Luke and Saba from Team NASA. And first off, Saba, I just wanted to ask you sort of what NASA's doing here at the Tech Showcase.
Thank you, Mike. We're just really pleased to be here at the Mountain View Technology Showcase, and we're just here engaging the public on a lot of our projects that here at NASA Ames Research Center. We have three projects represented. One is the Astrobee project, which is a virtual assistant, and then we have the Small Satellite project, which Luke will talk about, and then the Gene Lab project as well.
Great. And Luke, why don't you tell us about the Small Sat?
Sure. So here at NASA Ames, we're working a lot on small sat missions, which are satellites about this scale here. This is 1-to-1. This is a model of a laser comm system. So we're using high bandwidth lasers to communicate from space to ground, and it's kind of a revolutionary new technology that we're working on at Ames.
And so what's the technology, the satellite or the systems and processes that the satellites are using?
Well, it's both. So we work on both at Ames, and we integrate commercial technologies like laser comm systems, and we also do the systems integration and engineering here at Ames. We do testing as well, and then we work with launch providers to integrate them onto spacecraft missions. So we seek to validate new technologies that NASA can use and that the wider world can use as well.
So, I mean, I've seen stories about some of the other companies putting lots of satellites and microsatellites into orbit. Aren't the heavens getting awfully crowded?
Well, yes, but it's also pretty big up there. It's a vast amount of space, and what we work on here are low Earth orbit satellites. So these ones will go into about 400, 500 kilometer orbits, and they'll burn up within just a few years. So these don't really contribute to space junk.
Okay, that's fair enough. And what sort of applications would these small sats be doing that your average consumer and audience might be aware of? Anything that would affect them on a daily basis?
Sure. So if you're tracking vehicles or you're doing Earth observation, you're looking at wildfires or flooding, these kind of satellites could do rapid responsive imagery of the Earth and then transmit it down to Earth very rapidly so that you could aid first responders, you could do climate and data science in a much quicker way than ever before.
Cool. Okay. And Lavorka, what's the project that you're working on?
Yes, I'm working on a project called GeneLab. It's at NASA Ames. And essentially, GeneLab is trying to understand how the space environment affects biology at a molecular level. So they use various biological techniques to analyze various model organisms that have been flown in space to answer that exact question. So NASA can create the appropriate countermeasures and be able to have long-duration space flights.
And I just saw something in the news that they were doing stem cell development now at the ISS.
I think so. I don't have much information on that, unfortunately.
But that sort of thing. I mean, we do stuff here on the ground, but if you're doing it in a weightless environment, you might have different results.
Absolutely, yes. And I do want to mention that GeneLab is an open repository, means that any citizen scientist can access it. It's sort of similar to, what's it called? Shoot. I forget the term.
No worries. You're too young to have a senior moment, but...
no, crowdsourcing, similar to crowdsourcing, where citizen scientists can access this database, and they can actually contribute to the NASA mission by helping us understand at a quicker pace how space, the environment is affecting biology. So,
thanks very much. And Saba, sort of what other things is Ames doing these days, sort of on a sort of macro sort of scale?
Wildfire research is very high in the in the area of research that we're really concentrating on. So anything from California fires to national, international, there's a real big focus on data science and wildfire research.
And the weather this week is might be really contributing to a lot of work coming up. So, any last things you'd like people to know about what's going on with NASA Ames?
I think we really want people to connect via our social media and on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and just, look at all the amazing projects that NASA Ames researchers are working on.
Any open houses in the near future? I know we're still fighting the pandemic, but...
Yes, that's a great question. And I think there's a real great NASA Ames exhibit at the Chabot Space Museum. So the public is welcome to go there. It's amazing exhibits that NASA Ames researchers are actually involved in. And so I would really encourage everyone to go to the Chabot Space Museum.
Well, thank you all for your time. We love having NASA here in Mountain View. And we'll go back to the audience. Thank you.